If you feel a little bit lost in life, you don't know where to go or what to do, then this video is for you. And this video is also for you if you've been deep into spirituality, but your life in general looks a bit like a mess. So, hey, I'm Virgo, and this is Psychedelic Actualization. And in this video, I want to talk about creating a vision and the importance of having a vision for your life. It's a key part of the psychedelic actualization framework that I use with all of my coaching clients. And it's a key aspect really in the practical domain of life. And in this video, I want to share a simple step-by-step process to find your direction in life, to figure out your purpose and create a vision for yourself. All right. So why is this important? Because I see that there are two ways in which we could approach life. There's probably an infinite number more, but two main ones I've figured out in figuring out my journey in life is the path of full surrender, saying, I give everything to God and I am not in control anymore, and you lead me wherever you want to lead me. That's one path. And that's a valid way, but it's a tricky way because it requires a deep spiritual maturity and a deep connection to yourself and to life as well. And it's a key aspect of my journey as well. But I take on the other flavor as well. That is to take responsibility, to create a vision for my life, to have a direction and to move into that direction to get what I want, basically, in life, right? Because when you tell yourself you're walking the path of surrender and you're just full on in love and light and alignment in this spiritual bubble, but your life is actually a mess and deep down you somehow feel you're a bit lost. You're like, you don't know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Maybe you're just smoking weed all day, every day. And there's something in you that's calling you somewhere, but you don't know what it is or where that passion and that drive is in your life. Then it might be crucial to look at the vision, right? Feeling this desire is a bit of a sign. And honestly, I'm all for God realization and spirituality and all that kind of stuff, but this is not the video for that. Because as psychonauts, we have our head in the sky, but also we have our feet on the earth, right? We're in between the heaven and the earth. We're here in this center, embodied human beings living a human life while being all and one and this unifying, all-encompassing consciousness, right? It's both. So even though we love to talk about the spiritual side of things and the lofty, heady, heavenly side of things here on this channel, this video is about the vision and living a grounded human life, because that's part of our integration as psychonauts as well. As I often like to say, it's giving relevance to the relative, right? Giving relevance to the relative. And we're doing that while we kind of like, we're aware that we're playing this game. We're aware that ultimately, it doesn't matter, but it's a key option to play the game of life. It's to create a vision, to have a direction. And it's fun to play in that way, right? And many clients of mine that come to me and that have deep psychedelic experience, they do not have this direction. And really figuring that direction out is really a key puzzle piece for their integration, in which they have the passion then to move forward. If you're curious about that, there's a link in the video description. You can book a call with me. So before I go into the step-by-step process, I want to share a little bit about my story, why that's important for me and where my expertise is kind of coming from. Because honestly, I'll have to say I was a bit privileged and I got lucky. Because when I was 16, I discovered psychedelics, so quite early, and they shifted everything for me. They really ignited a fire within me. I was a bit depressed, a bit more into philosophy and nihilism at the time, and existentialism, not a good place to be at 16. And these psychedelics, they broadened my perspective, and they ignited a passion and a love for life and for myself that I could have never imagined. And so from that point on, I kind of like dedicated myself to the path of psychedelics. But it didn't come from one day to the next that it was clear to me that I wanted to go down this path of psychedelics and make that my purpose. I kind of like felt it deep inside, but it took an online course actually that I did that helped me to figure out my values and my strength and all this kind of stuff, and a lot of trial and error to nail down my life purpose statement. And then by the end I had a life purpose statement. I can share it with you. It's pretty powerful and still guides me up until this day now, a decade later. Right, it's my life purpose is to lead people to the realization of infinite love and infinite self-understanding by the embodiment and demonstration of infinite love and infinite self-understanding in my own life. I'll do that through my ability to bring back and communicate insights about truth and love from my own psychedelic experiences, to educate people about and guide people through their own psychedelic journeys. The function of my life is to demonstrate the goodness and power and magnitude of God, love, and psychedelics to those who are inspired and courageous enough to seek it out, and to help them integrate and embody their insights in their own life, right? I know it's a big statement. It's daunting. It's like I haven't even closely realized that to its fullest extent, right? The education is coming with the Psychedelic Actualization online course. The sharing the insights is happening here on this channel. And it's just like all these little puzzle pieces that are coming together. The guidance and the facilitation is one aspect that's still a work in progress that I'm doing at the side. And the integration is happening through the coaching, which is a powerful vessel for the integration, right? So all of these little puzzle pieces are coming together in this area of psychedelic actualization, is what I call it, right? That's why I've got this channel name now. And over these years, with a lot of consistency, I now find myself at a place where, wow, I am able to earn a bit of money with this. I've been speaking at a university, sharing about my passion about spirituality and psychedelics. I've never been at a university before, by the way. It's just mind-boggling, the connections that were made and the path that's been happening. And I feel really, grateful for that path. But that came only through the vision, through me knowing where I was going. So that's kind of like the short little aspect of my journey. And really this theme and this topic helped me to live in truth to the greatest extent, in authenticity and in greater fulfillment. And it's something that I return to every once in a while, and again and again when challenges come, that vision, it centers me and it grounds me here on this earth. Right? It's really developing also this relative personal side of things, the self-actualization side of things that comes before or after or in between the self-transcendence, right? So let's move into the step-by-step process here. Are you ready? Are you excited for this? You don't know what the simple step-by-step is to find your direction in life? Here it is. It's quite simple, but it's not easy. It requires a lot, and it might also require a big time frame. That's important to keep in mind, right? It's not happening from one day to the next. So the first step is, if you don't really know what direction you're going in and you feel a bit lost and you don't even know where to start maybe, then you're basically in the discovery phase. The discovery phase is a wonderful phase. It's nothing to be ashamed of to be in the discovery phase, right? It's something that's really precious, and it can be really fun as well, even though you might feel a bit, like you're walking in the dark. But the discovery phase is really about figuring out a lot of stuff, getting to know yourself on a deeper level, on this personal level. That means figuring out your values. Values being things that are most important to you in your life. What I do with my clients is define their top 10 values and actually rank them from highest priority to lowest priority. Because these can give you a little bit of a clue of what direction you want to go in your life. When you look at the things that are most important to you in your life, then you can figure out your strength, right? It's something good to be aware of like, hey, I'm really good at connecting with people and networking with people, and it comes easy for me to talk to people, right? Or it's not so easy for me to do math. I can't think visually. That's actually an example of myself. It's like I can't do math. I can't think visually. So it's not my strength. Obviously, I could develop that skill if it's needed, and I might, but my strength lies in more language and formulation and inspiration and that kind of stuff. So figuring out your strength is a good one as well. And figuring out your passion, what you really like doing, where you feel like you're gaining energy by actually doing something and by serving in a sense. And you figure out all these things through different means. One is obviously just learning through YouTube, just watching videos, maybe doing some online courses. That's great. But it can be a trap as well of just like getting into an infinite loop of watching more videos. So a great alternative is reading books. Can also be the same trap, but there's more condensed, powerful, great information in books as well on the topics of figuring out your values, strength and passions and all that kind of stuff. And then a lot of experimentation. So that is what has helped me and many people as well. It's like if you don't really know what you're passionate about, then try stuff. Basically, you're just trying a lot of stuff. And that can be traveling to another continent and just like being in a free flow there. Not a 5-star hotel vacation, but just like really letting yourself be carried away from the travel and meeting people and getting outside of your comfort zone. Try surfing, snowboarding, some sports, just climbing, whatever, try gardening, go volunteer at a permaculture farm, or, do psychedelics but really kind of like try to nail it down and focus on this self-discovery of really getting to know yourself, defining your values and figuring out where your passion really lies. And that's a great first step, and that period can take years, honestly. And there's no rush to get anywhere, we're gonna be here and then we're gonna die either way. So it's like there's no rush to get this done in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. But also, obviously, you don't want to be too Larry-fairy and lazy about it, but really kind of like go at it, enjoy the process, and then figure out and get some stuff together. And once you have all these reference points and all these experiences, all these life experiences and all this discovery that you made about yourself, all this knowledge about yourself, then that can come together into a kind of like self-created purpose statement or a vision, or at least a direction of nailing it down of like, hey, I feel like in this area, for me, for example, it was psychedelics and spirituality. In this area I want to serve, right? Nailing it down to direction and really seeing where you can serve, and to have a strong why, right? You're connecting that purpose and that vision to a strong why, right? Psychedelics changed my life at that period, and I am forever grateful to them. So that's why I went deep into this direction. I have a strong why, because this strong why is going to carry me through the ups and the downs and through the challenges of realizing the vision and moving into that direction of fulfilling my purpose. And it can also be, even though it's a self-created kind of like direction or purpose or whatever, it's still authentic to you. And there is even a higher dimensional, or maybe even we could say spiritual aspect to that, of not you controlling it, but you more like being called, right? I like the term of you being called to do something, Because when you're called to do something, there is a whisper there, you know, there's a whisper from the divine or from God that's saying like, hey, this might be your dharma, your place, your purpose, where your direction, where life wants to lead you. But still, it's also very personal and authentic to you, and you really feel like, yeah, this is what I really want to do. And the second aspect about the vision and the purpose is usually, I would say, most of the times it's related to service. So service doesn't have to mean you are serving another human being. It can also be serving the earth, serving the animals, serving the trees, you know, just like, but it is a kind of service. You're giving yourself to that direction, to that vision. And it does not necessarily, but ideally, I would even say it's for me personally, it's a nice flavor to have a sense of selfless service. You know, it's something you would do no matter what, if there's a reward for that or not. That kind of like takes the ego out of the equation that says like, hey, with real estate I'm gonna make a lot of money, but you know, where's your heart? Is your purpose and vision and your calling really in real estate, or is that just your mind saying that would be a nice vision and a nice direction, and then I'm gonna make a lot of money, which then is gonna allow me to, I don't know, chill out for the rest of my life, right? It's a possibility, but it's not there with heart. So and with real service, selfless service to the cause, you're giving yourself to the cause, to the vision, to the direction. That can make the process a lot more beautiful, at least from my point of view, right? And basically, it's also about your practical dream life, right? So part of my vision, which is not ultimately connected to the purpose, but which is going to allow me to fulfill my purpose to a greater extent, is to generate online income for myself, right? So that's why I'm doing this. This is why I'm offering the coaching. This is why I'm serving here through building up a community and showing these videos and grinding hours upon hours on the online course, right? Because I know that a part of my practicalities of the dream life and of me fulfilling my purpose is to have online income based on my own business that is grounded in my passion, right? So these practical aspects are good as well to look at, right? Do you want to live in nature? Do you want to live in a city? And what kind of like environment or community do you want to feel like, live like? What kind of relationships do you want to invite in your life? All that can be part of your direction and of your vision, right? And then that's a powerful thing to move towards. That's a powerful thing that motivates you and inspires you on a daily basis automatically. Like nowadays, I don't even have to think about motivation anymore. It's not a thing, because I have a strong vision and a strong calling and a strong direction that just pulls me. Like I can't do anything else but that. And I wouldn't want to, right? And then the third step is basically the consistency, right? Cultivating that commitment and that dedication to the vision, and to stay on track on that, and to learn about that field and really master your craft. Whatever your craft is going to be, it's going to be a path of mastery. And that's why the first and the second step are so important and crucial, right? To get them right. Because from my point of view, right, there's only so many hours we have in our life, in our whole lifetime as a human being. So it's critical to really nail it down to something that you feel resonant with, because there's going to be maybe 3 or 4 cycles at maximum of something that you can really master in your life, right? If you really want to dedicate 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 hours to something, to your craft, then that craft should be something that you're resonating with, right? Because after that, maybe you get to another kind of like layer of that purpose. There's only 1 or 2 more things that you can do in your lifetime that you can really dedicate your whole life energy to. So through that consistency then, and staying on track and learning and getting this mastery going, that's a key aspect to really get this moving. And there's many different aspects of that, and that's quite individual and unique for your particular path and for your particular vision, right? What it is that you got to do. But staying consistent also means building this base of great habits, eating well, sleeping well, socializing well, meditating well, just like these good habits instead of these distractive habits. That's a part of it. And then really kind of like figuring out what it is that you need to do to get to that vision. Break that 10 or 20 or 50 year vision down to 10-year process, 5-year process, 1-year process. What do you need to do next week or next day or today, in the next hour, to move towards that vision? And then you just stay consistent and you just keep at it and keep at it and keep at it and keep at it. And it's going to take longer than you would want it to be. It's going to take much more energy and much more suffering and struggle than you could have ever imagined. At least that's the case for me. Might not be the case for everybody, but it really takes everything out of me. And it's good. It's good. But the only thing that I can do is to stay committed and stay dedicated, to keep my head up and move forward, because I can't imagine doing anything else with my life, right? That's the fun part about it. When you're really aligned with that vision, with that direction, then it doesn't matter if it takes 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years for you to realize that vision, because you enjoy the whole thing. You enjoy the whole play. And that's actually the fourth step that kind of like closes down all these different step-by-step guides. It's the transcendence, right? It's you just recognizing that the point was never to achieve or realize your vision, even though that's great to do, but that you being present with each and every experience, with each and every challenge, with each and every high and achievement and low and loss, you enjoying all of that. That's the point. That's why having a vision is so great. It's not because you want to achieve it. It's not because you want to get somewhere, that takes you out of the present moment. It's to be present along the whole journey, to enjoy the company along the way and appreciate all of the experiences that you accumulate, all of the learnings and all of the lessons that you take on. Because I have found that creating a vision for my life and following through on that is one of the greatest teachers, right? It's really one of the hardest things I've done in my life, but it's also one of the things that brings about the most rewarding lessons and learnings. And we're here to play with that, to, just like follow our excitement throughout the journey, be flexible in our moving through the day-to-day jungle or towards that greater vision, towards that North Star, and to have fun, to play, to follow the excitement, to transcend that whole game altogether, right? And to move on when we feel like we're moving on, or to adjust course when we feel like we need to adjust course, right? There's nothing set in stone, but it's great to have that direction and then to move towards that. So again, if you're curious to create that vision for yourself, to figure out your values, move through the discovery phase, have support in crafting a life purpose statement and in deciding on a direction that you're passionate about, and then in staying consistent and being held accountable every step along the way, I do offer one-on-one coaching, especially in regards to psychedelic integration for psychonauts who feel a bit lost and who want to figure out what to do with their life. Link is in the video description. And if you're curious about psychedelics in general and about the integration steps of psychedelics as well, there's a great masterclass that you can watch right here. It's about the best beliefs that we can take on that support our journey of psychedelic integration. And we're going to uncover some of the not so beneficial beliefs that are present in many psychonauts. Much love, hope you're having a great day, and see you in the next one.